It's going to be Q1, Q2 where it hits in full strength. But the deals we're working on now around valuation, it just takes time to put the technology inside some of our partners behind their firewall, and that is ongoing currently. So really look to see the revenue to be flat through Q2, Q3, up substantially Q4. But then if you take 21 as a whole and look to 2022, you should expect another major transformation.
Next up, Jim Albertelli, CEO of Voxtur Analytics, trading on the TSX Venture under the symbol VXTR and trading in the United States under the symbol VXTRF. Jim, welcome back.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
Jim, let's start with a quick overview. On July 18th, 8 Capital came out with a buy recommendation, putting a target price of over $1. What's driving 8 Capital's sort of support of the company?
You took a look and go back to some of the earlier things that we have discussed. Really, the Anow acquisition and its place in the market is driving a lot of that valuation. When you're looking at what the projected forward earnings are, the Anow acquisition in conjunction with the Benutech acquisition, which was announced, and we believe will close very quickly. Both of those are two key revenue drivers that are lifting 8 Capital's recommendation.
And how is the Anow integration going in terms of their business onto your business? I think, can you explain that in the context of how that's a template for the integration of other future acquisitions and why it's so accretive to the company?
Yeah, sure. So remember our core thesis when we were looking at acquisitions essentially was the prop tech space, software as a service, and accretive to our offering. As you may recall, if you're an investor and you've been an investor with Voxtur, you know that we acquired Clarocity. Clarocity had a digitized workflow. In adding Anow to Clarocity, it was really complementary in that we took the end-to-end encryption of Anow, we paired it with Clarocity's workflow engine, and ultimately we added the elegant AI that Anow brings to deliver that all the way to the consumer. So when you're thinking about technologies, we spotted places where we thought we could improve very quickly through acquisition, which we have done. We assimilated those teams together already in very short order, under 60 days, with a very thoughtful approach to it. And then we took Anow. Remember, Anow was a $30 million acquisition. And if you looked at it from the outside, you might have said, hey, $2 million in revenue and a couple $100,000 US in EBITDA. What are these guys thinking to give it such a heady valuation? But ultimately, by putting the 1 + 1 together, we really get an exponential growth. We've already seen that with some of the clients. We have a number of contracts already pending. So really the beauty of it was the ability to see where we were from a technology standpoint, identify those key points where we could improve, identify someone that we could improve with, and put those two together to proliferate very quickly. And that's what we're in the process of doing. We expect that some announcements will be forthcoming in the next few weeks that'll further buttress that thesis. But really, again, it was prop tech. It was in our core wheelhouse of valuation. It was accretive insofar as it addressed several places where we could be to improve to be the platform in North America for valuation. And that's what we're on the pathway to do.
Can you walk us through the entire value chain of a real estate transaction on the Voxtur platform, just so that the audience and I can appreciate better the fullness of the experience and what is in the Voxtur platform and what's not in the Voxtur platform in terms of the whole real estate ecosystem transactional processing? So
just talking about origination, apart from where our technology plays in mortgage servicing, or ultimately in the capital market space, if we just focus on the front end, what we can see really is that the Voxtur suite of services plug right into the point of sale. So if you think about a large point of sale business, maybe think about one that has recently gone public at over $1 billion valuation, that's Blend. Voxtur provides a lot of the key components so that a loan can be offered. And as an individual enters the sales funnel, we can pull in any of the data elements. We can provide the credit, or credit can be provided individually, but it can come through our hub. We provide the valuation, one of the most key components when you're doing real estate backed lending. So ultimately, that order rides on our pipe. It may ride to an AMC that's affiliated with Voxtur. It may not. But ultimately, we manage that entire process all the way to the consumer. So Voxtur has that consumer touch all the way to the lending touch. So whether it's an appraisal, or it's a broker's price opinion, or it's an automated valuation methodology, in other words, all human to all man-made, or some combination of those, Voxtur manages all of those components. So that part of the value chain is Voxtur. Secondarily, if you want an instant title opinion at the front end of the point of sale, Voxtur can provide the instant title decision by looking at the lien paradigm, by checking MERS and credit. We pull all of that together, and we can provide an instant an instant title decision at the front end. As the transaction progresses and the lender approvals come in and the title information comes back, Voxtur has the ability to provide a traditional title insurance product or an alternative to title insurance product, often at 20 to 80% less than traditional title insurance. Really looking at this point now is the key components of that loan. You have their verification of income and employment. You have a Voxtur component, which is the valuation of the underlying real estate, which we provide, we manage, we maintain. We pay the vendors on that platform. So end-to-end encrypted valuation, that's us. And the title piece, you're going to make sure that that you're going to put on the property as the new lienor, as the new bank, is going to be in first position or second position or third position as it happens. And Voxtur verifies all those components. Now, Voxtur can also take that consumer and that lender, marry the two, execute the documents, and then electronically file them in most jurisdictions. And so the Voxtur chain at the origination are very essential key components. And there are things, if you've read the book Good to Great, things where we're really a hedgehog, the alternative to title insurance, the valuation and then valuation platform, things that we're the best at, and we're right there at the point of sale in the mortgage space. A lot to unpack because we can also provide those services to the mortgage servicers. So, for example, the mortgage servicers oftentimes mark their book to market. Again, they can ride our valuation rails. We can provide the ADM, the BPO, or the full appraisal. If consumers go in and out of compliance, meaning they get behind, they go through a foreclosure process. We have technology to manage the foreclosure process. We also have technology, if they modify their loan, to provide an instant modification decision and to give them title insurance or an alternative to title insurance wrapper in the mortgage servicing space, as well as provide all of the tax analytics underpinning it. So, speaking of the tax, I think, that is a great growth center. If you looked at the 8 capital analysis, what they didn't give us any credit for, but they did acknowledge was out there. And as we build a longer relationship with the analysts, they'll see this too, is the ability to take our RPTA, a real property tax analytics that we've developed over the years, and take that and really create a consumer-focused analytic, basically allowing consumers in the U.S. and Canada to know if their taxes are too high, too low, and by how much. We've been talking about that. The Benutech acquisition that's in progress gives us a complete data file to support doing that throughout the U.S. We plan to launch that in Q4, and that's 140 million properties, and that's a direct-to-consumer, accretive, but organic development from Voxtur. So lots of growth opportunity, tremendous growth opportunity. And then on its current underpinnings, where we play in the value chain, back to the real estate transaction, currently is really assimilating the information, providing some key components, like I said, valuation and title, and then having the ability to actually bring the consumer and the bank together to provide that closing experience and deliver those documents electronically back to the counterparties. So I know that's a high level trying to give you some low level so you can really see in the weeds what we're doing and how we're executing. But that's the Voxtur value proposition.
Sure. Well, that's very helpful. So the revenue that you reported in the last quarter was really representative of only 1 month of the entire merged company at this point. Obviously, ex of Benutech, because that's not complete yet, but only included 1 month of Anow, and that looked like 87 million a year run rate year over year. Or rather 183% increase in revenue year over year. Is that rate of increase going to continue, in your opinion?
Yeah. So here, the long and the short of it, do I expect that rate of increase to continue from 21 to 22 to 23? Absolutely. I expect it to continue. Do I think it's going to be 183% compounded quarter over quarter, or as Q1 was to run rate of last year? No, I don't. I really think that that we will level off in Q2 and Q3 because we have a number of clients and contracts that we are executing upon now. And I expect the growth to really return in Q4. Remember, we also have a fourth leg of the stool, which has been dormant. We thought it would fall off sooner. It looks as if, August 1st, the default moratorium stops. I think you're going to see a pickup then of some of our default related technology, our bankruptcy environment, as well as our foreclosure management technology. So those two components will pick up really in Q4, but it's going to be Q1, Q2 where it hits in full strength. The deals we're working on now around valuation, it just takes time to put the technology inside some of our partners behind their firewall, and that is ongoing currently. So really look to see the revenue to be flat through Q2, Q3, up substantially Q4. But then if you take 21 as a whole and look to 2022, you should expect another major transformation, and I should be able to give you a lot more color here in the next 4 to 5 weeks on that.
You bet. All right, that's a great update, Jim. I really appreciate the time, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was very nice talking to you. Have a nice day.